FBI came. They said they wanted to see my father. They said, well, Reverend Reese, you're on a hit list. And Dad responded, he said, well, I'm not worried about any hit list or any other kind of list. The FBI came. They said they wanted to see my father. They said, well, Reverend Reese, you're on a hit list. And Dad responded, he said, well, I'm not worried about any hit list or any other kind of list.
I'll play that tease a little bit. Welcome, everybody. You're tuned into the Lineage. Appreciate y'all checking in with us, coming in with us every Thursday, like you have been. You can be anywhere else, but you're here with us, learning some intricate parts of the voting rights movement that a lot of people didn't know. We are the grandsons of the Reverend Doctor. Put the Reverend in the beginning. Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. He was the leader of the voting rights movement. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
I want to tell all my followers on Instagram, please go. If you want to see the show in a great way, please go to YouTube and look up the Lineage Podcast.
Yeah.
And you'll see the show, how we got it set up through StreamYard.
Right.
What's up, cuz? How you doing? Chantel?
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to see the show like it is, it'll be best if you go to YouTube. I know a lot of people have been getting a notification to subscribe. Subscribe and hit the notification.
That's right.
You got to hit notification so you'll know when we on. Yeah, hit the bell. If you just tuning in, if this your first week, this is the third week of us doing this season of the Lineage season. This really gonna be season 5, 6. We started the podcast in 2019. We took a little break. So we had a lot of things going on.
That's right.
So one thing about us, we don't if we getting worked a lot, we want to put our all into whatever we do.
That's right. So
when we feel like we don't have the time to do it, we'll kind of scale back a little bit when we, until we get the time. Now is the time. So with this season, we've been talking about the leader and the man in the hat behind the voting rights movement. But what we're gonna do this week, we also gonna bring up certain things that's been going on in the world. So we're gonna have a hot topic segment in the show, to where we can talk about what's going on in the world, whatever it be. And if you would like to hear us talk about something, please feel free. Hit us in our inbox, hit us on YouTube or whatever the case is. Y'all know where to find us. But today the topic is called Privately, Not Publicly. When me and my brother was talking about coming back this season, we was coming up with certain topics that we wanted to talk about, and this was a peculiar one for me, because in my aspect, I feel like that it is the concrete saying of what's going on with Granddad, or what have went on with Granddad. He got a lot of praise privately, and we just did a tour last week, and it's crazy when we do the tours, and we have another one tomorrow. We have 2 tomorrow. Matter of fact, we're driving to Selma when we leave, once we finish the show. So we'll be in Selma, Alabama tomorrow. We're doing 2 tours. But when we tell people about Granddad, man, they are always at awe, man, with how he is just pretty much hidden in plain sight. And so with this week, we want to talk about how privately he has got some recognition, what a lot of people don't know, but publicly he has not received that same recognition. One thing I will say, before I let bro talk, one thing I will say about one thing that stands out to me about Granddaddy, he's in the HBCU National Black Hall of Fame. A lot of people don't know that. That's kind of on the private side. And what I do want to do, I'm gonna bring up a letter that John Lewis wrote Granddad, and I'm gonna read this, then I'll let bro kind of elaborate on it, on how he feel about the whole situation. I want y'all, this is sent to Granddad in 1994 from John Lewis. It said, I am pleased and delighted to join many of your friends to pay tribute to you in honor of your long years of service to the city of Selma and the state of Alabama and our nation. Over the years, you have contributed much to the uplifting of the downtrodden and to the building of the beloved community. I think it's appropriate and long overdue for you to be honored in this manner. Many of the young African-American men and women who are serving in highly visible public positions today, including myself, are there because you have laid the foundation. You helped pave the way, and we must never forget it. You have my best wishes for the days and years to come. Sincerely, John Lewis, Member of Congress.
That's right.
So that's one of many artifacts we have. Well, a few of them is praising Granddaddy privately, but when the public stage or the public platforms was presented to certain people, they omitted to mention his name.
That's right.
And we know it's a few reasons behind that.
That's right. Into that.
Yeah, we know it's a few reasons behind that, but I like the way we're going with this show because this happens in not just FD Reed's life. This happens across our history. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like my bro always say, sometimes we want to blame our Caucasian brothers and sisters, but a lot of the times it be us, y'all. We got to keep it 1,000, man. It be us a lot of the times. So let's go on some of the reason why we think Granddaddy was praised privately, but not publicly.
You want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I can elaborate on that real good. I think one of the reasons why if you bring to light what FD Reed, his contributions to the movement,
yes,
it kind of diminished the other people who have taken praise for things they didn't do in the movement. Mm-hmm. And that's just real talk. I got to show what I did because my part might not be as significant. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Because if you tell me a man that was born in Selma, raised in Selma, helped revitalize the Dallas County Voters League, that's the league that got Smith to Selma, was instrumental against Smith to Selma because he talked about Dr. Lafayette, who was a part of Smith, came to Selma. Then when that situation dwindled down, as president, he invited the SCLC. He led the first all teachers march. He was the reason why Brown's Chapel is the church today, the mother church of the voting rights movement.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, the first all world teachers march. If it weren't for FD Reed's leadership, Edmonds Pettus Bridge would not be known as the bridge to go see around the world. If you told me that about a man in Selma, Alabama, I would say, who is this man and why haven't I learned about this man? That's just me personally. Mm-hmm. So, and to be honest with you, to learn about FD Reed in Selma, everything else comes out of that, out of his legacy.
Facts.
See, then that's when you get to the ground roots. So what other leaders did, they said, let me be quiet about FD Reed because maybe if we learn about FD Reed, it's gonna take the shine off me. You get what I'm saying?
That's true.
So that's what our leaders like John Lewis and some of the ones that still live in Dr. Lafayette and some of the other ones. And that does not take away from their contribution and what they did because we needed them.
Correct.
We needed them to be the strong men that they were. Mm-hmm. But when the time came to teach history, it was time for them to stand up. And I don't think they did a great job in standing up to what the truth was about our history as Black people, what we did to contribute to the United States of America. You know, I don't like to just say Black history because Black people is a part of American history.
That's facts.
But what we do a terrible job at, and let me say it again, a terrible job at, is teaching our own people what we did because we have to be on the throne. We have to be on the mountain. We got to show and say what we did. We have a spirit of see me, self in the center. And that's what a lot of leaders did. They had self in the center.
That's facts. If you got anything to say, if some of the ways that, even if we're just not talking about FD Reese, if you can think of some ways that people have been praised privately, but not publicly, put it in the chat. This is an open discussion. You don't have to just look at the show and not participate. We love the participation.
Right.
But to piggyback on what you were saying, bro, you're right. It's when we do our tours and we talk about Brown Chapel.
Oh man, Oh,
It's wow,
unbelievable.
it's unbelievable that, and it's crazy that we were just doing our tour last week, that they are currently doing construction at Brown Chapel.
That's right.
Right now. And it's kind of crazy, man, that I can sit there and look at the construction and I can say that the bigger part of why they are even able to do this construction at this church,
because it's a national historical site. It's because of F.B. Reese. And yes, I said it. And if anyone disagrees with me, come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? If you disagree, we here to get history right.
That's facts.
I don't care about the elders. I don't care about the older people who don't like what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I would advise you to take your emotions out your feelings and look at the facts.
Right.
We're looking at facts, and that's all we want to discuss is facts, not what my auntie Suzanne told me, not what auntie Charlotte told me. I'm talking about facts. Facts about the movement.
Yes, sir.
Facts about history. It's a shame that our kids are just learning about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. It's a shame they don't know about Rosewood, Florida. It's a shame they don't know about Auburn Avenue, one of the richest black streets in America. It's a shame they don't know about New Orleans, Charleston, South Carolina. Shall I keep going?
Right.
It is a shame. And it just so happened that our grandfather just was one of those people that they kept quiet about his contribution. We just said, you know what, we're tired of it.
That's facts. And to even go further, man, it's just not about granddaddy. Look how they did, like you say, the Dallas County Voters League.
Yeah.
The Dallas County Voters League were 2,000 strong.
Yeah.
2,000 strong. And it got to a point where we don't even mention them.
The foot soldiers.
We don't mention the foot soldiers. We don't mention
L.L. Anderson.
Don't.
We don't mention Mr. Reverend Galloway.
We don't.
We do not mention Marie Foster.
Right.
We do not mention Amelia Boynton. We do not mention Mr. Doyle. We do not mention Mr. Gittersley. We don't mention Reverend Hunt.
Mr. Blackman.
We don't Mr. Blackman, and we don't mention Mr. Shannon.
We don't.
Look, these people were great. But what we do know, we know Martin Luther King.
Right.
We know Abernathy.
Right.
We know Joseph E. Lowry.
Right.
We know Andy Young. We know all the SCLC.
Yeah.
We know some of the SNCC members.
Sometimes we even throw Jesse Jackson in there.
We throw Jesse Jackson in there. He wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't there.
Yeah,
those are facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody want to be in Selma. You know, it's plenty of people lied and said they was at Bloody Sunday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we getting the facts right on this show. And just tell the people, if you want to learn facts about Selma, I ain't talking about the Montgomery boy bus caught. I'm not talking about what happened in Birmingham. I'm not talking about what happened in Mississippi. But if you want to know about Selma, Alabama, come on down to the Lineage Podcast.
That's
we'll
right.
show them tell you about it.
Let's switch gears a little bit, man. I know we're gonna go to hot topics a little later, but we can go there now. The elephant in the room. Recently, the law just passed to overturn what was done. I don't know when Roe against Wade was done. It's on top of my head. I can't remember.
I think Roe against Wade was done in I want to say 1973.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
So it was in the 70s. Okay, and we can elaborate on that. Let me read. Excuse me if I mispronounce your name. Bri Kiku says we can't depend on the government to teach our children / community. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
That's right.
100% agree with that.
We can't.
We
But the
can't.
thing about it, sir, or ma'am, I don't know. We can't depend on our own people.
Man.
Because it was our own people who had the platform to share the truth.
Right. That's real.
We have a tendency when we get around some white folk, you know,
you can say that.
To change.
You can say that.
To forget.
You can say that.
To conform.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to stop. You know, right. when you get to a certain platform, this is time for you to share the truth.
Facts.
Because you have everyone's attention.
Facts.
But we didn't do that because that's what we tend tend to do.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
That's be about us.
Yeah.
Self. Forget about the community, man.
Exactly. 1973 is the right date.
Okay.
Rose away.
We appreciate that. History.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah. You know more than me when it comes to that. But so we'll discuss that. Kind of share our opinion about that.
Well, you know my opinion on it.
Yeah.
I told you in the test the other day, a lot of people might disagree with my opinion.
Man, say it. This our platform. Say it, man.
First of all, I do not agree with telling women what to do with their body.
Facts.
But what I'm tired of the government doing is using the word of God in vain.
Mm-hmm.
You're using the word to not allow people to get abortions, right?
Correct.
But you won't go all the way out. If you're gonna say don't have abortions, well, make it against the law to have sex before marriage. See, we're gonna talk about that. See, the government, they're
gonna open up a whole nother can.
If you want to use the word, and you want to say abortion is bad,
correct.
So,
correct.
But even our God does not make us choose Him. We have the ability for ourselves to choose Him.
Correct.
So it's a choice.
It's correct.
But since the government, and I don't care what Republican, Democrat, who disagree with me or what I got to say, I don't care. But if you want to sit here and use the word of God in vain to pass a law to give someone, to take away someone's right to make a choice, how about you go all the way and ban and make it a felony to have sex before marriage? Then, now that's holding everybody accountable. They ain't gonna do that.
It would be.
They ain't gonna do that.
Because the majority of the population is not doing that. But you 100% right, man.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do it, bro.
You 100% right.
They're not gonna do it.
Abortions can be related to medical issues too.
That's right.
It's
true.
All
the time. They don't care.
Right. Because some women, they can't carry the pregnancy long.
Right.
Some women, it's a lot of different, and this just me, man. I'm a man. I ain't finna be telling a woman what to do with her body.
Look,
that's just me, man. That's I don't want, that's just how I am, man. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. I think you should give a woman a choice, but we sit here and we exercise freedom of speech. We have a choice to say what we want, and we want that to be respected across all boards. Well, but then you sit here and you turn around and you
want me to go deep where I want to go deep.
Man, go ahead. You know what time it is.
I go deep in this thing.
Go ahead.
Before we even get some subscribers, we're gonna lose them.
Don't matter. It don't matter.
We're gonna lose them, bro.
It don't matter.
Because see, if you go back right now, you look at the born to death ratio.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think I know where you're going.
In today's time, you have more Mexicans and Hispanics born. 76% of them are born. Okay. More than they're dying.
Correct.
Now, our Caucasian sisters, brother. They are just above the Asian Americans when it comes to being born.
They're just above them.
Asian Americans 55%. White American 56%. Okay. But they're dying quicker than they're being born.
Okay.
So look at the big picture now, and I can say this. We got to tell Suzanne, Becky, and Suzette they can't be aborting these kids because guess what? We need our people here. See this, and people might disagree with me with this. You look at the Ukraine war, and you look at who they're allowing over here, the immigrants. Okay. Who would they identify with? More with the white race. What did they do to them Haitians? When them Haitians came over here, what they do? They put them back on planes and they took them back over there to their country.
Facts.
But over here, you allowing the Ukrainians to come over here because they identify more with whites. And it's just real talk. It's not being racist. It's just what I see with my eyes.
So basically saying under population control.
There you go. So if they've been born, they're dying quicker than they're being born. And then you take, then you say, hold on, in 30, 40 years, the population of the whites will go down. So we would not be the minority in this country.
So eventually the whites will be minority.
That's right. And so guess what? They can't come out and say, you know what, all white people got to stop and have
Right.
So, but then with the black people, they're gonna continue to promote gangster rap, being hoodlum and all that.
Single mothers.
So guess what? Either they're gonna be in jail or they're gonna kill each other. So
they still need our labor.
They're not worried about our population.
Come on, man.
See, look. This is the bigger picture.
Come on, man.
You know, some people might say conspiracy theory. No, this is the truth.
It's the truth.
So yeah, that's like Young Thug. And think about it. Most rappers today, they don't go to jail until they make it. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? They have our young people's ears. Look at Megan Thee Stallion. You look at her Instagram, shaking her behind. She got nominated and received an NAACP Image Award. Look what they're doing our women in our community. Think about it. Don't nobody want to talk about that. So the government don't worry about black people because black people gonna take care of themselves. They're gonna continue to do what they need to do to stay unpopulated.
Yeah, they're gonna knock themselves out.
They're gonna knock themselves out. See, this is and people gotta think about this, bro. Don't nobody want to think about the big picture.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
And that's just real talk. It's more than just giving a woman taking her rights from her. Let me tell you something about the American government, and let me tell you about when you feel like you're superior over people. You think about the long run.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't about taking your rights away just right now. This is something about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
That's fact.
Simple as that.
You know, I knew you was going there. That's why
That's
I said.
What the voice is about, man.
I said, go ahead and bring it.
Yeah, they know we're gonna continue to kill each other. Mm-hmm. They're gonna continue to promote. Think about what Tank said. Tank was right the other day. He said, think about
100%.
all the rappers get the big deals. The R&B people gets nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the rappers are doing what the government wants them to do. Mm-hmm. Continue to promote the product that continue to keep killing our young black people, or they going to jail. Mm-hmm. We don't want no togetherness.
And I remember the guy that did that presentation on it. I forgot his name. Actually, a white fella, and he said that the biggest thing that we're doing is we promote violence on each other.
That's right.
So even in our music, as long as we're doing that, and Tank touched on it a little bit, he said our biggest threat is love.
That's right.
That's our biggest threat. They don't want the full family in the household. They don't want mom and daddy raising kids, productive society. They don't want that. So they want the single mothers, and they want 65-70% of the jail population to be African American because it keeps the world turning. You get what I'm saying?
Think about it, bro. Through slavery, our community was together.
Through Jim Crow
was together
because
the family. The church had a input in the family, in the community. We promoted family. Even the single people promoted family.
That's facts.
But today, in a time that we're supposed to be free, we out of order.
We really out of order.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
We out of order.
You're right.
When you look at it from the big scheme of things, we're out of order.
And you know what they do?
As a community.
And they'll drop some because you know how we do, man. Things are trend. It's just like the McDonald's thing. That's trending with the dad. We'll fall for it. Mm-hmm. We'll fall for it every time. But at the same time, they'll be having and I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I entertain certain things, but I'm also about the bigger picture. And what I'm saying, sometimes we don't look at the bigger picture. So, of course, when the Roe versus Wade decision dropped, of course, like anything, most of America is wrong, you know. And of course, you're right. But what I would submit to a lot of our brothers and sisters with the same melanin in our skin to try to look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture, and then you will see, you know, hold up, that's them brothers, they saying something right there because you know, just all we have to do is start turning the tide, promote family, and make better decisions as a community, man.
MJ, look at
because they see us coming.
Look at this, bro. And this, and I don't care who disagrees with me on this. I'm not promoting violence. I've said this before, but I'm promoting for us to think differently. Think about this. Look at all the rappers that have gotten killed in the last 3 years.
Man, we can go down.
Think about it. But George Zimmerman is still walking around free, selling, auctioning off the gun that killed Trayvon Martin,
signing Skittle bags.
Where's the streets? What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, when the streets gonna start doing their
Right.
job?
I know what you're saying.
We're not gonna wipe out the streets. We're not gonna change all their mentality. We're just asking you to do your job.
Yeah.
If you're gonna think that way,
right.
At least when it start happening to black folks, do your job.
Cause we stay on code with against us.
We be on code all day. We on code all day.
On code when it's on us.
We Ellenwood, Gresham, Roll, everything. We on code. You come out here do this. You ready to fight. You ready to throw down. You ready to shoot our own.
Right.
But then when stuff is done against us as black people by white supremacy, we quiet. What's the streets valuable for?
Right.
When they value gonna show?
Facts, man.
Because I don't care what nobody say. And people that say I'm promote violence, the people who will say that ain't black. And they ain't never seen their people struggle. What I'm saying, until people fear that if someone kills or does something wrong to a black person and know something coming, like the mafia put fear in the government, they put fear in other people's minds, until people of different races know that when you do something to a black person, that something is coming, ain't nothing gonna change. Because you see, the president ain't gonna change. Joe Biden, we voted Sleepy Joe in. Sleepy Joe, the first thing he did was sign a Asian crime bill when all them black folks had gotten killed.
Then went to sleep.
Ain't nobody did. These cats talking about abortion, man. Nobody did anything about police reform. You cannot depend on your government to do something for you. What you do have to show your government that you're not playing.
Exactly.
As a people, I'm not playing. This is what I expect.
Right.
And if they don't do that, you don't vote for them.
Right.
You don't. Yeah. We just voted a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
And every slot, I voted for a couple of people that I know personally that I know that's gonna do a good job. Right. But in every other slot, I wrote in. Yeah. I didn't vote for nobody. I wrote in black crime bill.
Yep.
Black crime bill. I sat there and people was looking at me. I sat there 30 minutes at the voting poll. And I wrote that in each slot until we stop voting these folks in and vote them out and show them you're not getting my vote until I see some tangible changes. And I'm not voting for you.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Let me read some of, man, Abrikaku. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the name right. Please forgive me. A woman cannot be able to safely carry a child to term. That was them speaking on the Roe versus Wade thing. And it said, in full effect, hundreds of years later, Willie Lynch, basically what he said.
Still standing strong.
And then they said, we aren't organized.
That's right.
We aren't organized, and that is 100% right. Like my bro we point this out all the time. We sit there and we argue about the 20% we disagree on, and we do nothing about the 80% we agree on.
We sure do.
Let's
we agree on a lot. And
yeah,
we do. Of our leaders fighting with each other in public.
Right.
I see it all the time. Got some great leaders, but the 2% they
disagree on.
They are fighting on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Now you're splitting the people. You're splitting the people, man. You look. Let's go behind. That's one thing FD and them understood. My granddaddy. I can say Martin Luther King. I can say John Lewis, Abernathy, Roselle Williams. All I can go down the list. One thing they did do a great job at in their time, they didn't disagree in public.
Facts.
When in the middle of the movement,
facts.
Regardless what they disagreed on. Look, Dr. King disagreed on with my grandfather for not making the Dallas County Votes Leader affiliate in the SCLC. That took a lot of money from SCLC. But guess what? They still finished the job. Now Dr. King was wrong when he didn't have FD back about the embezzlement. But what I can say during the movement, in the middle of the movement, them cats kept pushing.
They kept pushing.
We'll deal with this later.
Right.
But we're gonna keep our eyes on the objective.
Right. And then a good thing what they did, they put different people in charge of different things. Like Jose Williams was in charge of the logistics.
Logistics, that's right.
So
a lot of people don't know that.
They don't know that. So if I put Jose Williams in charge of the logistics, that means the marching, what we doing, how many feet we'll fall apart. You know, Jose Williams knew all the letter of the law. Then we had to march 3 feet apart and all of that, right? If I put him in charge of the logistics, and then when Jose says this is how we gonna do it, what they were good back then is say, okay, we put you in charge, so we rolling with what you say.
You know what? They have overlooked Jose Williams.
Man,
they try to just erase him from history.
Let me tell you why.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna tell you why
Jose
they did.
Williams.
Tell you why they did.
Enforcer.
Tell you why they did it. He didn't go to the Congress and to the White House. See,
No.
this is what happened, man. Now, if you look at Bloody Sunday, it was a young fella standing with a kind of tan coat with a book bag on. We know that was John Lewis.
Right.
But it was a guy with a trench coat with a white shirt and a tie on that was standing right next to him. That in the front line.
That's right.
His name was Jose Williams.
He was the leader of that march.
He was the leader of the march and in charge of the logistics.
So he led the people on the route that he decided to take.
But guess why he didn't get the hoopla? Guess why he didn't get the national recognition like he deserved? Now, he has a street here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I drove on it today. Cool. But he didn't get the national credit because he didn't. See, it's all about politics. And when people say they play politics, that's one of the categories what happens. The higher you go up, the position you go up, the more notoriety you get. But that doesn't mean that the people that was with you shouldn't get the same notoriety.
Right.
So yes, you're 100% right.
You bring them on. You forget. You close the door. What we do as black people, we get in the positions and we close the door.
Shut the door.
We don't follow them through. Now, what I can say about the rappers, now they do a great job of following folks through.
They do.
I gotta give it to them.
They do.
Even though how much I disagree against the rap, but I can say the wrong people has the right mentality when it comes to following people through and getting people at the table.
That's facts.
Because the rappers do a great job of that. Maybe our leaders can learn from them on that aspect.
Facts. That's facts.
Shoot, man. You know?
They want us to conform. That's what I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to call you AB.
AB, okay.
That's what AB saying. AB said, you gotta conform. You're 100% right. Well, they want us to conform.
We ain't conform.
We can't conform. We ain't
conform.
You're 100% right. They want us to, but yeah, you're 100% right. And that's another thing. When you said privately, not publicly, we can go both ways with that. Yeah, we're touching on how Granddaddy didn't get his recognition publicly, but he got it privately. But at the same time, what you just hinted on, we need to start disagreeing privately.
That's right.
And not public.
Public.
Because we'll disagree publicly, and the people that put it out there, they sitting back laughing at us doing like this because we falling right into the trap.
Fall into the trap. And then you taking your million with you, and I'm taking my million.
Correct.
Now we are. It's just like the whole thing about I disagree with the argument between if you agree with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Right.
I personally feel like both mindsets are needed.
Facts.
I feel like you need both mindsets to be successful. That's my opinion, and I think I'm right on that opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. But what they'll do, they'll get black folks to think, oh man, I agree with Martin Luther King, so now I got to hate and disagree with the mindset of Malcolm X.
Right.
Or I agree with Malcolm X mindset. I got to disagree with the non-violent folks because that's stupid. No, I feel like while the non-violent folks sit at the table, they'll allow the people who agree with a little violence to do their thing, and while they doing their thing, they looking at them like, look, we ain't gonna tell our brothers to do nothing until you change something.
Correct.
Because if you don't change, no, we're not gonna tell them to stop doing what they doing.
Correct. 100% right.
That's
and then to piggyback on that, they don't publicize that Malcolm X came to Selma in February.
So don't tell that one.
They don't tell that.
He spoke at Brown Chapel.
Spoke at Brown Chapel, and he stood up for King and said, "Tell my brother I'm here
if he need me.
I
want to come." His exact words was, "I want to come to Selma to show my brother that I got his back, and if he need me, I'm here."
That's right.
They won't tell you that.
They won't tell you
no,
that.
sir.
They won't tell you that.
They won't tell you that because if you have both of their mindsets in today's time,
in what?
Woo, boy.
Divide and conquer.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why they still letting George Zimmerman walk around. I don't care if you don't like what I just said.
AB said it's always either or. It's never come together and use the strength of both.
That's right.
100% right.
A house divided, conquer a house divided. All day. And that has to change. We as black folks got to change our mindset on that. You know,
100% right. Now I do this every week, man. I got to show need my mouse, man. I got to show the pictures every week I gotta do this because there's certain people that don't know.
They don't know. That's right.
You know, so we gotta
refresh
do
their
this.
memory.
Gotta every week.
Or let them know, and then
Every week.
refresh some memory who has decided to exercise the disease called senile.
Okay, this picture here. I wish I could zoom in, but you see Dr. King waving his right hand and holding his lovely wife hand, Mrs. Coretta Scott King. The man that is standing next to Mrs. Coretta Scott King is the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, our grandfather. In that folder contains the speech of Martin Luther King that he spoke at the Capitol of Montgomery. How long? Not long.
That's right.
That's the folder that's in his hand. You see the man in the hat with the trench coat. That is the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. This picture here is another picture when Dr. King came to Selma. They was doing a march. We'll just leave it there because I got more. Another picture with Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth.
That's right.
And Dr. Martin Luther King, and in the middle you see him, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. This is another picture. I want to say this is that same day. They just switched positions, but you see Dr. King with the flowers in his hand. On his left is Mr. Ralph Abernathy. On his left is once again Fred Shuttlesworth, and on his left is Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese. Here's a picture that many of you have probably seen in your books, magazines, on commercials, and everywhere else. Going out Desert Avenue, behind them it grew to 50,000 people. This is the front line of the Selma to Montgomery March, which happened on March the 21st, 1965.
That's right.
This is a picture on Bloody Sunday. This is before they lined up. As you can see, right under the words you see him is the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese, and the man on his left that you see next to him is Reverend Jose Williams, who we were just talking about, the man that was in charge of the logistics and who was standing right next to the young fella in the tan coat with the backpack, which is the late great Congressman John Lewis.
Jose Williams was the leader of that Bloody Sunday March.
Exactly. He was the leader.
Somebody to come and tell me he wasn't.
Yeah. Facts.
He was over the logistics, so he came up with the plan on how they were going to march from Brown Chapel to the Evans Pettis Bridge.
Yes, sir.
And he was in the front line. He was the leader of that march.
Facts. This picture, you see Dr. King is at the podium making a speech. Right behind him, sitting in the middle pew. We say pew. The church folks know what I mean.
That's right.
That is the middle pew. Most of the time when you're in the middle pew, you are the man. And that is the man, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. That is in Brown Chapel AME Church. That is the church that is a historical site in the city of Selma, Alabama. It's a national historical site, which we will be giving our people that we touring on tomorrow. We'll be showing them Brown Chapel. Sitting down on the floor is Miss Cheyenne Webb.
That's right.
Go look her up too, Selma, Lord Selma. Here's another picture with the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese.
Reverend Reed, yeah.
Who?
That's the funeral right here.
Oh, this is the funeral of Reverend Reed.
Yeah.
I ain't know.
Yeah.
You know who Reverend James Reed was? He was the white man that got killed in Selma. Right? Was it after the
it was
after Bloody Sunday? After Bloody Sunday? I think it was before the Selma Montgomery March, if I'm not mistaken. He got killed trying to go get something to eat in Selma, Alabama. He was killed by a Caucasian man. But in this picture is Granddaddy. You see to the left, right up under, you see him. You got the high priest next to him, Dr. King next to him, and Mr. Abernathy next to him. In the back, looking, you can see Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth. This is a picture that many of y'all probably have seen. This is a picture of Martin Luther King all the way to the extreme left. In the middle praying is the Reverend Ralph David Abernathy, and the man with the hat kneeling right in front of you is the Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese.
Tell him, bro.
Last picture here. This is after Martin Luther King.
That's the first Jubilee.
This is the first Jubilee, period. I want to say this is in, you can look at their hairstyle and see it was in the 70s. We got the original picture over here, but this is my grandfather greeting Mrs. Coretta Scott King and John Lewis. They were coming to Selma for the first Jubilee. Now, you know, when you come into somebody's house, they greet you and you greet them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just say that, and I'm gonna let that sizzle in your spirit. And how country Wayne say, let that sizzle in your spirit. But I do that every episode just to kind of illustrate, to show what we mean, and why we stand boldly when we're talking about Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. We just not blowing smoke, man.
Mm-hmm.
We want him to get his rightful place, and we will not stop working until then.
And man, come do a tour.
Come do a tour,
wow,
man.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it because we're doing the tour, but I'm saying it because we're doing the tour.
It's a great tour. I will tell you this. The last couple that we, very nice couple, the last couple that we toured last Saturday,
they were in awe.
They were in awe, and most people are in awe, but they say their hair was standing up because they like to do non-conventional tours, but this non-conventional tour turns into the tour because we give so much background, and this is a guy that's hiding in plain sight, and we are related to him. Mm-hmm. So they find it an extra special treat that we, kind of take our time out and give the history.
And we feel the holes.
Yeah, we feel the holes.
Exactly. They recognize we feel the holes that the nation has overlooked. For our cousin Bina say that she don't like those words, but that they have, I'm gonna say overlooked and not shared. So, but we feel the holes, and so they leave with a better understanding of what happened.
Facts.
And we just don't talk about LP. We talk about Attorney General Chestnut.
Yes.
We talk about L.L. Anderson. We talk about Fred Shuttlesworth.
We
talk about all the Dallas County Voters League and the Courageous Eight. We break down how they were organized, who the Courageous Eight are, the board of directors of Dallas County Voters League. We do all this, and we fill the holes, and they leave like, now I understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's our job too.
Because
so come book one, man.
Yeah, because be honest, they hear Martin Luther King. They know about the most people that we do tour. What I like to do is ask them, what have you heard about Selma? And most people will say they know about Bloody Sunday. If they do know, they know about Bloody Sunday and the bridge. So I say, well, let me tell you here, we finna connect all the dots to show you why that all happened.
And we walk across the bridge.
We walk across the bridge with you, So please book a tour, man. And I would say, bring some young people with you.
And spend the night in Selma.
Yeah. Spend some money there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
St. James. Go to Laney's Barbecue in Selma, Alabama.
Right.
The best barbecue in the nation, man. Off Mentor Street, Mentor Avenue.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Should be Laney's Avenue. Man.
Yeah, Laney's. I'm going there tomorrow, matter of fact.
Yeah. Hey, AB said using the strength of both makes the community stronger. Talking about Martin Luther King and Malcolm.
That's right.
You're 100% right.
That's right.
And let me give you a shine. Let me give you credit. Put your name up there. There you go. Using the strength of both makes the community stronger.
Right.
I know we got 15 minutes, but let's touch on. I know you said, and I didn't hear this story about the
young man in the police transporter.
Touch on that.
If you look on my Instagram at Alan M. Reese on Instagram, I posted on my story about a young man who was arrested, and the officers put him in handcuffs, and then they put him in the wiggle wagon, the police transport them to jail, and they did not put a seatbelt on him. And what happened? Something happened while the officer was driving, and he hit the brakes or the gas, and the young man flew to the back of the wagon and hit his head, and he's paralyzed from the chest down. And then what really is disgusting, is that when they pulled this young man out of the transporter, now he walked in the transporter, but then they said the reason why he can't come out of the transporter and walk is because he's too drunk. And then they put him in a wheelchair, rolled him into jail, then laid him down on the floor of the jail cell. All those officers should be they should be fired, and they should be charged and convicted, because that's just a shame what they did to this young man. It's a shame, bro.
And see, and this is what we touched on early in the show. For those just joining in, welcome. What we touch?
Hold on, we got Mr. Grips on up in there.
Okay.
Grips Good Eats. Make sure you go there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna clip it and send you the we gave you your props last week.
Well, you know his wife, they was out of town.
Oh, that's right.
Her 50th birthday. 52, I think.
Yeah, Miss Mel.
Yeah, Miss Mel.
Yeah, happy belated. But yeah, yeah, man. We got you. But what has to change, man, and this is why voting is so important, and putting your vote in the we got to come together and put our vote in the right person and start against some demands, because we're changing, like you say, you get in office and you write an Asian crime bill and you skip over us, and like you say, the police reform got to be at the top of the list.
But they ain't gonna put it at the top of the list. See, this is why I tell people this. It might be time for black folks, y'all gonna get a lot of people cussing out.
I know you're going. They gonna cuss.
It might be time for black people to sit out a presidential election. My thing is this: we have not been educated on how things run in government. The local government, your city council, your mayor, your state senator, your sheriff, those people will do more for your community that you will see on a daily basis.
Right.
See, what we've learned and what they did, they took the movement and they made it presidential election of bust.
Right. Correct.
And see, it really should be more people out there voting for their local, their local election than for the president election. Really. But see, people say, I voted for Barack Obama, or I voted for Trump, or I voted for Joe Biden. I don't see no change. But you ain't going down there voting for your local election.
Right.
And that has to stop. We got to start putting emphasis on our local elections, on our city and county elections more, and teaching our people this is just as or more important than the president election. Correct. But you'll have 20,000 show up, or 50,000 in that community show up for the president election, and 3,000 for the local election. But you talk about them roads. Trump don't care nothing about them roads.
Right.
Nobody don't know the roads you stay on.
Right.
But your mayor and your city council member does. You get what I'm saying? And your governor, you might even vote for your governor too. Because
let's just put it in kind of this perspective. What do you think Roe versus Wade did? Federally, they took it out of what they do.
The feds, the states, the feds took it out of the state's hand. Because the states weren't going to do right by it.
Exactly.
But that shows that a lot of us don't vote for our local government. We don't get in our state elections like we should.
Exactly. Because there's a lot of things that's not federal, it's in states' hands.
That's right.
So we'll sit there and only focus on the president, but we don't know the different state laws that we have.
That's right. But that was the thing about the voting rights movement, 1965 voting rights.
Correct.
It took the authority away from the states
and put it in the feds,
because they knew the states were going to continue to be racist down in the South. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, we have to start paying more. This is why, and I'm going to show you how strong. I'm going to show you some in Georgia. All my Georgia folks, this is how strong state elections is. You want to know why Joe, what's his name, Kemp, can ban abortion? Ain't enforcing it? Because he saw that Senate race turn Georgia blue.
Right.
So he know if he put his mouth on it now,
he got to sit
he
back.
He gonna lose some votes. He gonna sit on it. He gonna see what's gonna happen in November.
Right.
And if he win, the next day,
watch,
he gonna ban it.
You already know it.
Next day.
AB said, yes, the local elections where the change really happens. They run the government. The president is just the overseer.
That's right.
100% right.
Watch Kim. I'm trying to tell you, watch him. He ain't saying nothing about it. He ain't gonna say it about it because he's scared of them two Democratic senators. He's like, hold on. I might not win this. I don't want to prematurely say something and lose votes.
Lose some votes.
Because there's still some people on the fence. And if I speak too soon, the boat might rock.
And you know the women, they really determined. They know which way that boat gonna rock. So if you come out and you ban it,
he ain't gonna say nothing. He ain't gonna say nothing.
Even if they ask him about it, he gonna pee off.
He gonna peel off them. he gonna act like he ain't here.
Yeah.
But watch what the legend on November 4th. Watch November 5th if he wins. It's just gonna come out, abortion is banned, all women. We don't care what certain.
And that even speaks to more of our topic privately, not publicly. And if you use that kind of mindset into privately is more of your local elections, and publicly is more of because that's what we publicly put more emphasis on is the presidential election.
That's right.
But the private in this instance, private is more important.
That's right.
Because you want your roads fixed, your schools better, and everything would directly impact you right there.
That's right.
You really need to dive deeper into your public, into the public houses and things of that nature.
About your road.
Yeah.
Let's send that money to your state.
Facts.
Whoever won an election gonna put it in the community they want to put it in, who they get the kickbacks from. This is why I say black people need to have their own lobbyists. People run from that, but look at the LGBTQ community. If you agree with them, disagree with what you can, so they use lobbyists to their favor. They got they lobbyists and it work.
We need to make a shirt. I hate to cut you off with your idea with the pie.
Yeah.
How much the percentage?
That's right.
We need to do that.
I'm gonna make that shirt.
We need to do that
because it's the truth. The top lobbyists now. The church had an opportunity to be black people lobbyists, but they dropped the ball. The black church had the opportunity, but they sold out. And other ministers, they sold out.
Like you said,
they're not the cornerstone of the black community anymore.
I was just going to go there. You know what you said on the show? It was a couple years ago. I said that
a few years ago.
Right.
Before people didn't want to have conversations about lobbyists. They didn't want to have conversations about what else I was talking about, bro? Like Wall Street.
Right.
I have a conversation about jury duty. I was saying this in 2018, 2019. No one wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I said jury duty is a shame. I said that needs to be reformed. How can you change the whole system if you don't look at jury duty? Because see, economically, black people do not have the economics to take off work and go to jury duty.
Right.
Because guess what? I'm not going to miss $200 to get $25. Talking about I did my civil duty. No, I'm going to look over that jury duty. I'm going to go to work and take care of my family.
But that's purposely.
Yeah, that's done by purpose. That's purposely done.
Because why can't they do this? What you make it your job? Just like they can everything else goes through your job, right?
That's right.
Your tax forms, your health insurance, get your HR ladies, all these forms and everything, right? Why can't they send a letter to your job? Marvin Reese has been selected for jury duty. What is his wages per hour?
Let's go.
So if it takes him 6 hours for jury duty, we're gonna pay him his wages. Guess what? More of us will show up for jury.
It's easy. You let the state pay for half of it. You let your job pay for half of it.
There you go.
The job get a tax break for putting it to jury duty. Man, it's not hard, but it's about racism. It's about white supremacy. It's not hard.
They don't want us there.
They don't know because but then we want to get mad at the outcome.
Right.
Yeah, we can't show up because economically we ain't got the money.
Right. Because that thing can go 3-4 days and then you know us. What everybody say? Guilty. Guilty. I gotta get back to work.
That's why you got all white jury.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
That's why you got all white jury because we overlooking the jury. And then look, the whole system is messed up. Then remember that the prosecutor and the defense get to choose the juror.
Right. Come on, man.
Come on. The system is broken all the way up. But no, black folks didn't want to have this conversation.
Right.
2018 when we was on the podcast, 2019.
Right.
And that's it's on pop. They want to talk about fake booties.
Right.
They want to talk about it. Go back and check my rap sheet. I've been talking about this. It's time for me to run for office, man. I'm sorry because it don't make any sense. But see, this thing about running for office, then you really become powerless because now you got to sit here nickel and dime.
Right.
I don't want nickel and dime.
Right. Nah.
Come on, man.
Right. We're gonna go because we're gonna let the man head us out, and because I like to illustrate everything and tell them the teacher's mark, tell them about the teacher's mark. We're gonna let FD ride us out and y'all watch this. Go ahead, bro. I know what time. Yes, sir.
Before you leave, I want you to make sure that you go to the FD Reese Foundation.org and just look at our website if you want to donate to the foundation, man. You can donate to it. We do back to school drives. We try to do essays. We put money into the historical house. We're trying to put money into grants to get money to put into the house.
We want to bring them MDA walls back.
Go to historicrepair.com. We have a repair company. You can go to Amazon and buy his book, F.D. Reed's book, his own book. My brother showed it to him right there.
Yeah. I know I got the blur on. Now you see it.
Self-sacrifice.
There you go.
Just look at. Go get you a tour. Send your kids down, but the tour is not much. I think it's what $26.
We got it cheap, man, and it's less for children, and even senior citizens get a discount. So, man,
look, come on, come down to the tour.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. A couple of your folks buy a tour. We ain't turning nobody away. Come back, get educated. At the end of the day, we here to educate you. And we just don't end at FD Reads. We talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? You can
paint
ask
the whole
us
picture.
any question. We're well-rounded in this area. And just go get you a tour, man. Come to Selma, Alabama. We're gonna take you around Selma. We ain't gonna do what the presidents do, just stop at the bridge with the motorcade and speak and ride. No, we take you around the city. You need to look at Selma, Alabama. Look what they have forgotten who Selma is, man.
100%.
Stay the night at the St. James Hotel. Walk around Selma, Alabama. Selma has a lot to offer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Experience Selma, Alabama. You know, it's a good country, southern time.
And you'll see where it needs help. That's why we need more people there.
That's
so
right.
You can see, so you can really see how has this historical town been swept under the rug or hidden in plain sight. We give it this bridge, this national attention.
It has
but once
world,
you get past that bridge, it's over with.
The bridge has a world historical mark.
Right.
Not too many places around the world.
Not nation.
Not just no world.
World.
Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
So I'm telling them, educators, bring your kids.
Right.
Get field trips. Hit us up. We're not knocking nobody over the head. We got deals for large groups.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we've done it before. We've had people bus from Mobile, Alabama to come do a tour with us.
Right.
Bring your kids, man.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's educate our people. We're in a time now that we don't need the old school books to educate our kids. There's so much information out there. You know, we're working on a virtual tour. But what I'm saying is that support us and support this movement. Right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I always try to give a gem to any entrepreneurs, anybody who's trying to elevate their life, man. Keep pushing, man. Know this. I would say this. Enjoy the journey. I know the journey is hard.
Yes, sir.
I know you're ready to get past the finish line. But let me tell you something about the journey. The journey has a lot to offer. The journey has something that everything else can't offer. It builds character. It challenges your faith. It strengthens you. You know, I look at the journey like you're working out. When you're losing weight, man, it hurts. When you're lifting weights, you cramp. You know what I'm saying? You cramp. It hurts. But guess what? After growth, but through all that cramping and through all that hurt and everything you go through, it's growth. And that's the same thing with life and journey, with entrepreneurship. Man, sometimes you have enough money in the bank. Right. But guess what? Keep faith and keep riding. Keep pushing, man. I told my brother, and I said this before, life is like the game of baseball. I love sports. And we're around in baseball, football, and basketball. And one day I thought about it. I said, you know what? Life is like baseball. Life is not like football, because you don't always have 11 with you. Well, 10 if you not counting yourself. Basketball, you don't always have 5 or 4 if you're not counting if you're not counting yourself. But baseball is always 1 against 9. It's one person up the bat, and you got 9 outfielders. You got people in the infield and people in the out. And you got to hit the ball. You might strike out, but guess what? You on deck, you got to get back up the bat. You might hit the ball, you might think it's a base hit, and it falls and in the outfielder dives and catch it. But you got to keep pushing. There you go. You can't give up. Guess what? You might get up there and hit a home run. There you did. Or you might get a base hit. Or you might hit and get a double. And guess what? You back up the bat, and you might get another base hit and bring that man in. You in. Now you done score. Sometimes you hit the ball and you think it's gone, and it's not. It's fine. It's okay. Keep pushing. There you go. Keep pushing, man. Sometimes you gotta do like FD do. Sacrifice fly. Sacrifice fly to get the man in. Get you home. Sometimes you gotta play small ball.
There you go, man.
Sometimes the bats, everything's just not going over the fence. Sometimes a base hit there, a double here, a single here. Sometimes you might get a triple there. Sometimes the outfielder might miss the ball, but you just keep pushing. Keep getting up the bat and sitting at the plate.
That's facts.
Don't worry about how many times you strike out.
Facts. That's facts.
Because guess what? You're never out until you give up.
That's right.
The game is never over until you give up.
Give up.
Granddad used to say, as long as I got breath in my body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our grandfather used to share to us when we was at the house. A lot of people that never experienced that from FD. We was able to get them at the house sometimes. And I'm telling you what he used to tell us at home. As long as you have breath in your body, they gonna break. Mm-hmm. Don't give up during the night because you ain't gonna see daybreak. You give up, you throw in the towel. I don't care how long night lasts. Because night is necessary to be successful. Right. Night, think about that. Hard times is necessary because some of you got too much arrogance about yourself. Some of you don't have enough drive about yourself. Some of you need the night to keep you front of that because you'll be exposed in the light. So the night is good. Take it for what it is, but keep pushing. That's fact. That's all I got to say. I'm going to leave you at that. Man, we appreciate y'all. You know, he can go all day. We appreciate y'all, man, tuning in every week. We appreciate y'all tuning into the lineage, man, on this journey with us. And we appreciate the participation. Go subscribe, hit the notification button. We appreciate everybody that's been doing it. Until next week, we finna ride to Selma as soon as we end this. But until next week, man, we love y'all, appreciate y'all. And we're gonna let the man himself ride us out.
In January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time we went, I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested. because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, if you don't go up these steps, Jim Clark said, we're going to arrest you. I said to myself, exactly what I want you to do. And so after about 45 seconds, before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers.